Hello everyone, my name is Joshua and this is the 168th video on my video journal series. Today's date is Sunday, the 26th of July, 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good, thank you. And today I went to the pub with a friend and a friend of a friend, so with two other people. And I got myself a nice medium rare steak with some chips, salad, and a schooner of Guinness. Obviously, I knew one of the people there, but he also brought along a friend who I had never met before. But he was a nice person to talk to. We had a good time, and afterwards, we parted our own ways. We all went home. I took a little walk, and yeah, that's pretty much all I did today. But these last couple of days, I've been really prepping for uni because I go back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day one of this new semester. And I've been feeling very sort of excited because over the holidays I've been doing, some work. Obviously, this video journal series, but, work, in my sort of own personal life. And I don't feel lazy, nor do I feel overworked. I'm in like that sort of sweet spot, which is good to have. I feel refreshed. But despite that, I feel quite nervous. And I do have some butterflies in my stomach. Because even if you know, like it's really hard to explain. But it doesn't matter if you did a semester of uni or a year of uni. It's always when a new semester starts, do you just feel like it's pretty much your first time because with uni, every semester it sort of resets. You get new classes, new people, new teachers. You're pretty much back at square one. I mean, sure, you're further into your degree, but it feels like everything's new. And there are like positives to it, but I guess the downside is that you just won't be um, too much familiar faces. You got to basically restart, and it can seem daunting at first, and it will take a few weeks for you to get like slowly adjusted back into uni life. And despite me feeling refreshed, I don't want to burn out as soon as I go into uni, so I have to sort of decide what my strategy is going to be because I'm mostly in on Tuesdays, and I have a pretty big Tuesday at that. So yeah, I have to sort of plan around it, and I've taken a look at some of the assignments, and they don't seem too bad, but yet again, no, you have to live it to experience it. But yet again, no, I just know that this semester, if I work hard, do fair, honest work, that I will succeed, and I have a nice holiday planned at the end, which is good. And come to think about it, uni semesters, at least at the uni I go to, aren't that long. It's only around, well, let's see here, August or late July, but in counting full months, it's August, September, October, and a little bit of November, though I'll most probably be done by mid-November at the latest. And obviously my holiday is late November, so everything works out. But I guess, focusing just on uni prep, obviously you get like week one content that you have to do before week one. I know everything before the census date, isn't people say isn't that important, but it's every bit that counts. Um, I like my work to be spread out. I don't want to do everything on one single day. I like to do things on multiple days. And last semester at uni, I was in for like 4 days a week. It was too much. And now I feel like it's too little, So that's why I'm most probably going to go in on Tuesdays and Fridays. I like going into the city on Fridays to do, I guess, study, but also my, Sydney a work in progress project to film videos and take photos of the city. Oh, excuse me, I felt like a big burp coming there. That's most probably from my pub lunch earlier. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this. You might also feel the exact way I am feeling, maybe feel a little bit different. And uni can seem daunting at first, especially the first semester, or even a year in. You might still feel like, hey, I am feeling nervous, even though I've already, experienced what university life is like. Having to start new semesters, just daunting. Like, you worry about making friends, you worry about grades and all that. And I will say, it's too early to start worrying about that stuff. Um, and yeah, it just, it comes down to, being yourself. And I've stated before on this channel, don't be afraid to be yourself. I've made a whole video on that. But, it's just a matter of, hey, you don't really have to, I guess, be, super flashy or super talkative or whatever. You just need to find a small group or any group or, even just, the person sitting next to you, strike up small conversation and things will naturally progress over time. I feel like, I'm overthinking things way too much that I have to, like, I guess, live it to experience it. Um, that the first couple of weeks I have to build up that momentum. Yes, that's a key theme here in this video journal series. Momentum. Can't even pronounce it right. I know my mum, as soon as she hears the way I pronounce that word, she's going to say it's wrong. But you know what I'm talking about. Basically pushing that boulder up the mountain. The first day is always going to be tough, but then things slowly get better over the weeks. And yeah, it's just, I guess a matter of not how fast you're going, but how consistent you are in your studies and the things that you do in life. You might be starting a job for the first time. I know the experience of going to uni for the first time. It's like entering, a new workplace. I've certainly felt that twice when I used to work. Stepping into the new workplace, meeting new people and all that, sort of like first day back at uni or, your first day at uni or college or wherever or even just school. Um, and obviously, I don't think the expectation is that you immediately, I guess, become friends with everyone. It's that thing slowly develops over time. So I'll say don't rush uni life. Standard courses around 3 to 4 years. And obviously, people have aspirations after uni, but in my eyes, at least with my life, I know that once I leave uni, um, I won't have, I guess, as much free time as I would um, previously, because obviously I'll be looking for a full-time job, full-time commitment. So I'm kind of appreciating, I want to, I guess, sort of appreciate life now, rather than, I guess, sooner rather than later, and being able to travel and obviously do this video journal series. This series doesn't really take up too much time of my day, but I got to talk about interesting things. I'm going to do interesting things in life to document to you. So then I don't sit here like a boring old man talking about how I paid my mortgage today. Well, that's going to be me in maybe 40 years' time, given the current housing situation. But that's a situation for future me. And I guess to really get back on track. What else about, I guess, uni? I guess trying to, like, remember where all the buildings are on campus. That's always my number one thing whenever I return back to university. Because I haven't been on campus in like months. I have to refamiliarize myself with all the rooms, all the buildings, and even though my uni isn't really that big, you know, it does take some time getting used to, especially when you got a class afterwards. Let's say you just finished a class and you're like, all right, now I've got to rush to the other side of the campus just to get to this class. And I do have on Tuesday a situation like that where I end the class and then I immediately have to rush to another class. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, it's just all part of uni life, I guess. And I know some friends will be in uni on the same days I would be on campus, so I get to hang out with them, which is cool. Some people I know, they don't have any classes on Tuesday, so I'm like, all right, well now I have to sort of work around that if I want to keep in touch with them at least once a week. But apart from that, I'm excited to make new friends, make new memories, experiences, and I guess university is that one sort of thing in life you only do once, unless you're going for a PhD or you want to become a professor, you want to do a graduate study. For most people, they only do it once, and it takes up a very, I guess, small dose of your life. It isn't as lengthy as primary or high school. So yeah, I'm just trying to savor it. But despite that, it is sort of daunting the first day of classes and even the first few weeks of classes. And especially when it comes to staying on top of it, I'm someone who likes to stay on top of things. And when you're just swarmed with week one, week two, week three work, it really does seem daunting. And especially those first round of assignments. I never do well on the first round of assignments. In fact, I actually do quite bad. But then I slowly improve, and it's always the first assignment that I know it's supposed to be the easiest, but at the same time, you don't have any sort of previous work or previous, I guess, examples that you could use, in terms of your own work, because that's something that you build up as you, um, you know, do more assignments. You can like look back when you pass assignment and go like, all right, so this will sort of guide me to what I have to do. Yet again though, I wouldn't feel bad about doing bad on the first assignment as long as you did your best, and you can use that as a good example on how to do better on the second assignment, even if there's nothing sort of between them. Let's say assignment one is completely different to assignment two. You at least know, hey, maybe I need to schedule my time more wisely. There's always something to be learnt about assignment one that you can use towards assignment two, three, and how many assignments you have. And that's why, and yet again, though, the later assignments are, typically the ones that matter, the ones that weigh more. So, assignment one isn't going to be the end, but, you have to take lessons from it. And I've certainly had to do that a few times. And I guess to really wrap things up, because yet again I need to get an early night's sleep. I gotta wake up and travel to uni, and I don't want to be in a very let's say tired mood. I am, as I'm recording this, feeling a little bit um, let's say nervous, worried, and I am feeling a little bit excited as well. All those emotions into one, and I think you know, I'll sort of be like that, excuse me, for these next couple of videos. I'll most probably be like, all right, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? I like when the teachers run through what the assignments are on like day one. For assignment three, you'll be doing this massive project. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm really starting to think about that now. How are we supposed to do this massive project? But then I'm overthinking things, and hopefully, I won't be, let's say, paranoid for these next couple of videos or too stressed out. I want to be, I guess, relaxed but not too lax. I want to be in a comfortable mood, but I don't want to, I guess, slack off or anything. I'm very much determined to do well in my studies with hard work, obviously, and to reap the reward. Yes, I did a video on that months ago, reaping the reward, waiting for the big prize. But yeah, other than that, I'm excited to see what uni brings, what this new semester brings, and obviously to meet new people, new faces. And something I guess I want to end on is that, I guess it's just a matter of, how I start the day that really determines the length of the day. If I wake up late, had nothing to eat, and I just, dress in very, I guess, like pretty much what I use for my pajamas, like a t-shirt. Sometimes I sleep in jeans, because I'm that tired. I'm not really gonna have a good day. If I uh, if I didn't put my clothes in the laundry and I just wear dirty clothes, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm really feeling sick. But if I wake up early, dress nicely, had a shower, brush my teeth, I'm already off to a good start. Good way to start your day. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing tomorrow. Waking up early, brushing my teeth, having a shower. Yet again, common sense things. But I feel like over the holidays, I just had a habit of sleeping in, which you deserve it over the holidays. But it's quite hard to adjust when you get back into uni or work. You got to wake up early. You don't have that luxury of being able to sleep in, especially when it's a cold morning. and just like waking up, scrolling YouTube, going to the bathroom. I should go to the bathroom first before I start scrolling YouTube. That's a very bad habit on my part. But yeah, I guess I'll just have to wait and see. Yet again, though, thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye, see you, take care. Catch you all tomorrow. I know I already said that. I should most probably add a little bit more cohesion when it comes to my videos. Anyway, I'll see you in less than 24 hours' time. Let's put it at that.